Hey there, everybody. Mike Fulsame here, along with old cousin Andy Jenkins.
Hey, everybody.
In this video, we're going to share with you a brand new software Andy and I have coming out called WebinarJam.
But before we go into the details on how you can get your copy, let's talk quickly about webinars. Now, as you know, the highest conversions from a visitor to a website to $1 in the cart is using webinars, and more specifically from using live webinars.
Of course, we know a lot about webinars because we created Evergreen Business System, which is hands down the best automated webinar system out there. Okay, we might be slightly biased on that, but the truth is we've been running and helping people with live webinars for years.
Unfortunately, the current popular solution, which is GoTo Webinar, costs around $500 a month. And even at that price, the maximum people you can have on your webinar is limited to 1,000.
And with list sizes today, it's very likely you'll need more than that. Otherwise, people will get locked out and they will send complaints. It just becomes a headache, but there really hasn't been any alternative up until this point.
And my goodness, it's $6,000 a year.
Plus, GoToWebinar uses old, outdated technology that severely limits what you can do, which limits the amount of money you can make.
Enter WebinarJam. WebinarJam uses the most powerful technology on the internet, Google Hangouts. You know, the same tech that old President El Jefe Obama Bing Bing used to address the nation. And he used it due to its ability to reach an unlimited amount of people.
Literally, we're talking 30 million or a billion people can be on your live webinar. It's whatever Google can handle, and we know they handle the world pretty good right now.
But there's just one problem with Google Hangouts. It doesn't have any sort of front-end marketing machine. Well, until now, that is, thanks to WebinarJam.
See, WebinarJam allows you to quickly and efficiently set up your webinar literally in minutes using one of our 20 proven, tested different landing pages that are preloaded into the system for you.
Oh, and get this. You can use any type of video you want. Your face on the camera, a slideshow, pre-recorded videos, webcam video, doodle animations, anything that appears in front of your video camera or your webcam, or anything that your computer screen can display, all of that can be a source. It does it all.
Once you've done this, now our software automatically goes into the Google Hangouts dashboard and sets everything up for you.
That's right. You don't even have to create the Hangout. It does it for you automatically, and better yet, all within one administration dashboard. It's that easy.
Next, you decide which type of offer you want to run, which will then set up a button that you can push at any time during the webinar you wish for it to appear. And hey, if you want to run multiple offers during the webinar, no problem. You'll have multiple buttons you can activate with a simple click of the mouse.
Now, believe it or not, if you just use Hangouts, you can't even put a link in the chat box because they don't provide you with chat software. So there is no chat box. And that's because it runs through your YouTube page, which blocks links.
So we took care of this for you, and we've added built-in chat rooms, built-in polls, and even built-in surveys. You can use WebinarJam to run free webinars or paid webinars. And regardless of whether you decide to charge or not, the entire webinar will be recorded and set up for replay instantly.
Once your webinar is over, every single attendee automatically gets email follow-ups, as many as you like, right to a replay page that is created for you. For those who don't show up, you can send them a separate follow-up sequence with separate copy for those people individually. As we said, this is your entire, complete front-end marketing machine for Hangouts on Air.
It trumps anything and everything else on the market. The only concern we had is that some people feel there's an advantage to GoToWebinar because they let you dial in from a phone.
Well, I mean, that's true, but frankly, it's a little misleading because think about it. When somebody is in the car and they want to dial in, what do they actually have to do? They have to get their phone, find the email from you with the webinar information, open up that email, look at the number to call and the access code they need to get on the call, then go back to the dial pad, try to remember those numbers, realize they've forgotten them, and go through the entire process again just to try to dial in and listen to the webinar.
Now, you don't have that problem with WebinarJam. What our system does, because it uses YouTube's technology, is it sends an email out with a link to the webinar. And the webinar will load on any phone, any smartphone, Android or iOS device, or an iPad, or an Amazon Kindle, and of course, any computer.
And when they click on that link, well, it just plays the video and the audio. So not only can they hear it, but they can also see it, which is really good when maybe they're, in a limo and a passenger in a car or on a train. And that's something that GoTo Webinar just can't do.
The other good thing about WebinarJam is that it's browser-based. So once you click on the link, the webinar just automatically starts. And if they get in early, they get a countdown page. With GoTo Webinar, they have to download software. And as you know, that can be very confusing. So it's no wonder why so many people don't show up for your webinars.
Something else that we think is pretty cool is because of the power of Google Hangout technology, is that if you're the presenter of the webinar and your internet connection goes bad and you get booted, well, that's okay. Your actual webinar doesn't go down. So you can get back in and all of the attendees will actually still be there.
If that was GoTo Webinar and you accidentally got disconnected or you were using voice over IP and had an internet problem, everybody bounces out of the call. It's happened to us and it's a disaster.
Look, we could go on and on about all the powerful marketing features we packed into this thing for you, but we're confident by now that you can see just how amazing WebinarJam is. I'm sure you can tell we're pretty excited to be sharing what we consider to be the world's most powerful webinar platform with you.
And we wanted you to keep in mind, GoTo Webinar costs $6,000 per year. And we're confident we could charge at least that. We realize lots of people would have found that to be out of their price range. So for a limited time, we've decided to do something special to help as many people as possible.
We're going to give you an opportunity to get WebinarJam, which is normally just $497 per year, for a short time for only $297 per year. And that includes new features that we add or any updates that we make during that year.
So right now, what we want you to do is to click the button below this video and fill out your details on the next page so we know where to send your copy of WebinarJam.
Okay, that's it. We will see you on the other side.